mind, looking for a dime. James Locke in the house, gonna help you shine.
All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Poole Locke YouTube channel. I am James Locke. Today, we're gonna answer some more Ask James questions of the day. Today, we're focusing on annuities. And there was a question that came from Brenda. And she says, I'm not interested in doing annuities because if I die, I know my family will end up giving up a lot of money. Do you think I'm being short-sighted? Hey, Brenda, thank you for this great question. And it's great to have you asking questions on this show here, where I'm really focusing on the good, the bad, and the ugly about annuities. Now, what you're referring to, though, is really one specific type of annuity, and there are 4 general types of annuities. So let's break this down to give you a clearer picture. What you're referring to is something called an immediate annuity. So Brenda, an immediate annuity is when you give a lump sum of money to an insurance company, and in exchange for that lump sum, you get essentially a pension. You get a monthly income stream that's guaranteed for life. What's the negative? Well, the negative is that when you give that lump sum to an insurance company, you've irrevocably given it up and you have no access any longer to that lump sum because you've exchanged it for an income stream. And yes, Brenda, in most cases, that also means that if you die before the life expectancy, the insurance company keeps the money and your family is left out. The other side, though, Brenda, is if you live way past your life expectancy, then you can say, hey, you've beaten the insurance company. Now, this type of annuity can be beneficial for those who are worried about outliving their savings and want a guaranteed income stream for life. However, the other 3 types of annuities aren't like that. With these other types, when you do pass on, your heirs that you name on the contract actually get that money. So let's look at these other options. First, you have a fixed annuity, which is not insured by the FDIC, but I like to think of it as the insurance company's version of a bank CD. It's tied to interest rates and provides a guaranteed return over a specific period. Now, this can be a good option for conservative investors looking for steady, predictable income. Then you have an indexed annuity, which is as safe as a fixed annuity in terms of protecting you from loss, but the difference is the interest is restated every year based upon the performance usually of the stock market. So if the stock market does well, you get more interest. If the stock market does poorly, you might not lose any money, but you might get 0 interest. Now, this type can offer potential for higher returns than a fixed annuity while still providing principal protection. Now, the 4th type is a variable annuity, and that's where you have these extra sub-accounts inside which look a lot like mutual funds. So the variable annuity has more risk than the others, but also more potential for growth. Now, this type might be suitable for those with higher risk tolerance who still want some of the benefits of annuities. Now, it's important to note that these 3 types of annuities will all allow you to name a beneficiary, and whatever's left will go to your heirs. Now, this addresses your concern about your family potentially losing out. When considering annuities for retirement income, it's crucial to understand that each type serves different purposes and comes with its own set of pros and cons. Your choice should depend on your specific financial situation, risk tolerance, and retirement goals. Keep in mind that annuities can be complex products with various fees and surrender charges. It's always wise to thoroughly understand these aspects before making a decision. Lastly, while annuities can be a valuable part of a retirement income strategy, they shouldn't necessarily be the only component. A diversified approach that might include other income-producing investments like bonds, dividend-paying stocks, real estate, investment trusts, BDCs, they could provide a more balanced strategy. So Brenda, I'm glad to be able to clarify this for you. You're not necessarily being short-sighted by being cautious about annuities, but it's worth understanding that not all annuities work the same way. Depending on your specific needs and circumstances, certain types of annuities could potentially play a beneficial role in your retirement income plan, without sacrificing the ability to leave something for your heirs? Now that was a great question. Thank you, Brenda, so much. If you'd like to send in your question like Brenda did, you can do so by emailing that question to poolelock@poolelock.com. We're going to move on to our second question, and this is from Joni, and she says, don't annuities have high fees? Well, Joni, just like the first question, the answer to this one is, well, yes and no. Right? There's one type of annuity that has very high fees, and that's usually a variable annuity. Now, if you remember, like I just discussed, variable annuities are the ones that have sub-accounts inside that they're not mutual funds, but to the layperson, they look and smell a lot like mutual funds. So you can buy a stock fund, international fund, bond fund, all within this annuity wrapper. So those have at least two layers of fees. First, they have the management fee inside the funds, and within these sub-accounts, you can have a management fee anywhere from 0.5% to maybe 1.5%, but most annuities have something on top of that called a mortality expense charge. Right? This is where they claim it's really to insure a death benefit, but the insurance that they often provide is usually minimal, and it's usually something that people don't even really care about as much, except that it's built into the annuity. I like to think, in many cases, it's a way those variable annuity companies make money, right? Because if a variable annuity company is filled with Vanguard funds and Vanguard ETFs, Fidelity ETFs, then how is the insurance company going to make money if all the money is being invested by these outside fund families? Well, the answer is that mortality and expense charge. And that's usually 1.25% to 1.5%. So you're already up over 2% in most cases. But now, to make it worse, remember variable annuities have risk. So they're the only one of the 4 annuities that have market risk. So to protect you against that, there are riders that these various companies will put on, usually to give you an income protection. But now when you throw that rider on, the fee can be as much as over 2%, 3 or 4%. So when you hear that annuities have high fees, people are typically talking about variable annuities. The other annuities, generally speaking, have no explicit fees. Now you could put riders on annuities where maybe you can have a fee, but for the other annuities, there generally is no fee that's actually built in. It's important to note, however, that while fixed and indexed annuities might not have explicit fees, they do have costs built into their structure. For example, with indexed annuities, the insurance company might cap your potential gains or use a participation rate, which means you only get a percentage of the index gains. These aren't fees per se, but they do impact your returns. Now, for those focusing on investing for income in retirement, it's crucial to understand this fee structure and how they might affect your long-term returns. High fees can significantly eat into your investment gains over time, potentially reducing your retirement income. When considering annuities as part of your income strategy, it's worth looking at the total cost of ownership. This includes not just explicit fees, but also opportunity costs and potential surrender charges if you need to withdraw your money early. Remember, while annuities can provide guaranteed income, which is valuable for many retirees, they're not the only option for generating retirement income. Depending on your specific situation, a mix of dividend-paying stocks, bonds, other income-producing investments, bond and bond-like instruments might provide a more cost-effective income strategy. It's also worth noting that the insurance industry has been responding to criticism about high fees. So some companies now offer low-cost variable annuities or fee-only annuities that strip out some of the more expensive features. Ultimately, whether annuity makes sense for you depends on your individual financial situation, retirement goals, risk tolerance, things like that. It's always a good idea to thoroughly understand all costs associated with any financial product and to consider consulting with a fiduciary financial advisor who can help you evaluate whether an annuity fits well into your overall retirement income plan. So Joni, I hope that helps clarify the fee situation with annuities and provide some context for how to think about them in terms of your retirement income strategy. Awesome question, as always. And if you'd like to send in your question, you can do so by emailing them to poollocke@poollocke.com. Hey, if you like what you heard, go ahead, like and subscribe to our channel. And I'm James Locke, your retirement income source. See you next time.
Money on my mind, looking for a dime. James Locke in the house, gonna help you shine. Retirement is near, don't you live in fear. Listen up, my friend, let me make it clear. Savings in the bank.